IKEA doesn't just sell furniture, it disposes of extra people, turning your crimes into a step-by-step self-destruction manual. If a flat box without a logo appears at your door, it means the city has officially recognized you as an extra part. This is not a delivery. It is your death sentence packaged in cheap cardboard, where instead of a wardrobe, you will have to assemble your own grave. And the most terrifying part? You won't be able to refuse. Because at IKEA, assembly is mandatory for everyone who has made a mistake. The box arrived without warning at 3:15 a.m. No courier, no call, no app notification. It just materialized on my mat, neatly placed, as if it had been part of this hallway's interior for decades. There was no return address, no barcode. Only a small white sticker in the corner, printed in that font we all know, IKEA, assembly required. I thought it was a mistake.
A neighbor ordered a Billy bookcase or a lac table.
But when I leaned over and saw my name printed in an even, soulless font, I felt a cold sweat run down my spine. It wasn't a mistake. It was an invitation. Before we open this box and find out what's inside, subscribe. We're digging deep beneath the foundations of global corporations, and this video might be the last one they let me publish. Your like is a signal to the system that we are still here. There was no furniture inside, no smell of fresh particle board or pine, only a sterile chemical smell of paper. No boards, no bolts, none of that famous hex key. Only instructions, a huge heavy stack of white sheets folded in a perfect pile, the same paper, the same style, the same faceless stick figures, but they weren't assembling a sofa. On the first page was a stick figure standing straight. Next to it, a green check mark. It was me, alive, for now. On the second page, the same person stood with a small black spot in the center of their chest. No caption, just an inky void where the heart should be. Step 1. A crossed-out phone symbol, a red cross. Step 2. A stick figure behind a wheel, an arrow pointing right, a check mark. I laughed. It was the nervous, hysterical laugh of a person who believes it's a prank, until I reached the finale. On the last sheet, there were no numbers. There was a drawing. A stick figure lies in a box, arms at the sides, eyes closed, and next to it, a trash container icon. I closed the box and threw it down the trash chute. But that night, I had a dream that smelled of sawdust and copper. I was assembling a huge black wardrobe. The instruction manual was endless. Every time I drove a screw into the wood, a warm, dark liquid began to pulse from the hole. It flowed down my hands, staining the white instructions, but the sheets absorbed it, only growing thicker. I woke up in a cold sweat when I realized the wardrobe I was building was my own coffin, and it was missing only one part: me. In the morning, I found an email with no subject or sender. Inside was a single photograph, a hypermarket parking lot, the dead of night, and my car with the trunk wide open. It was a photo from 2 years ago, that very night I had burned from my memory. Under the photo, the words glowed, "Step 2 completed."
I frantically dialed the IKEA hotline. "Welcome to IKEA. How can we help you?" The operator's voice was too calm, too synthetic.
I started screaming about the box, the threats, the photos. A heavy, vacuum-like silence hung in the receiver. And then the voice said, "Have you started assembly yet, Mr. Oliver? Don't make us send a technician. You know how expensive home service can be."
I hurled the phone against the wall. A second later, a message arrived. A photo of my door, taken right now from the hallway. "Do not skip steps."
I spent hours on darknet forums and found a thread called Flatpack Reality. People wrote about the boxes there. One guy from Ohio claimed he was forced to assemble a kitchen that was actually a torture chamber. Another girl from Sweden wrote that IKEA instructions are encrypted orders from the city's AI, getting rid of inefficient citizens. One comment made me freeze. "If you received a white folder, you are no longer human. You are a resource." I gave up, realizing that if I didn't follow the arrows, technicians would come for me, faceless beings in yellow vests. I got into my car and drove out of town to the huge blue cube of an old IKEA that closed 10 years ago. The parking lot was perfectly clean, without a single car, and a sign glowed on the doors, "Self-service 24/7. Inside, the light hit my eyes, 5,000 lux at least.
Everything was like a regular store, but it was a twisted parody. In the bedrooms department, people lay on beds with their faces covered by instruction pages. In the bathrooms department, I saw gray streaks on the tiles, resembling dissolved human flesh.
I understood the system's logic. This is not a store, but a warehouse for those who broke the social contract. The city doesn't need prisons. It needs centers for processing sinners into useful resources. In the nursery stood small shoes with no child. This wasn't a store. It was a warehouse for those being assembled by the city. IKEA is the perfect model of society. Order, silence, and no unnecessary questions. You don't ask why you need that extra bolt. You just screw it in because the manual says so. We are all cogs in a manual written by someone else. Criminals here don't disappear without a trace. They are disassembled into functions, turned into material for improving the lives of others. I reached the last room, where my folder lay on a mound desk, open to the page with the trash container. Next to it stood another box, a small one, with the name of the person I betrayed 2 years ago in that very parking lot. The manual didn't require violence, only actions of fixation. I had to pack the remains of his memory into this box, and when I finished, I felt a strange relief, as if the core of my guilt had been removed. I became efficient. I walked out through the back door, and it disappeared behind me, turning into a solid blue wall without a single seam. A week later, I saw an IKEA commercial. A happy couple assembling a dresser under the slogan, "Making room for a better life." I looked at my hands. They were dry and smelled of paper. There is another box at my door, a tiny one, with the inscription, "Thank you for assembling. Welcome to the staff." Next time you follow the yellow arrows, look into the employee's eyes. If they have a too even smile and asymmetrical arms, know that they have just completed their assembly. And if one day a box comes to you, don't try to throw it away. There are no returns at IKEA. There is only the result.